according to Monique, means that the hat on the head means you're lying. I've never heard that, but that's the origin of cap. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
Tendencies to be less open-minded.
Which is crazy because that's literally one of the three spiritual principles that we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have open. Yeah, we have to be open-minded.
Don't sound like the president to start inventorying yourselves, but be true to yourself. You don't have.
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was missed.
Like I hear us.
My wildest imagination.
It's getting deep in here now.
It's incredible, man.
Technical support.
Technical support.
I love it. It's good. Yeah. And applying the recovery, I thought about it for a second. Feeling punk rock. I'm feeling punk rock.
No, not punk rock.
I feel punk rock today.
Boom, 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 boom.
Feel like punk rock today. Can you hear us, Steve?
I can hear you.
You can hear us.
Are we supposed to be able to hear the TV?
Usually,
we are.
I don't know why you didn't.
Yeah, like when the intro comes in and she's like da 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 in our earphones.
Well, I know we're live, but if we got to chop the video up, we'll just chop it up then. All right, everybody. Good afternoon, VA. Welcome to
Sticking with that.
I'm sticking with it. Welcome to the McShin Foundation's Get in the Herd podcast. We're coming to you live with a little morning. God, I always do that. I got to fix that. See, we can edit that out. Coming to you this afternoon.
We're live.
We're live.
There's not a lot of editing.
Can't do no editing on the live stuff. We're coming to you this afternoon with our motivational and inspirational thoughts for the day. We're going to just kind of go off the cusp. I do got one kind of thought, but we are going to go off the cusp with this one. We haven't planned anything.
Jesse has a thought.
Uh-oh.
Shots fired.
That's when you can do like a shot sound effect. All right. So we're gonna get into this. Only announcement we got is tomorrow is the overdose awareness vigil. That's a vigil for anybody that has lost a loved one to substance use disorder. It doesn't necessarily have to be an overdose, but it is our overdose awareness vigil. We always want to extend that to anybody. So if you've lost somebody as a direct result of substance use disorder, come on out, check it out. It's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We got somebody singing some songs. We got some spoken words, and we got a speaker. So it's going to be pretty cool. Come out and check that vigil out here at 2300 Dumbarton Road. All right. Trav, what you got going on?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, wait, hold on. Steve over there, say what's up, Steve.
Hello, everyone.
I always got to make sure that we acknowledge the man, the myth, the legend, because you don't know what he looks like yet. Soon you will know what he looks like. If we get another sponsor, we need another sponsor.
Yeah, everybody needs to see his very intelligent-looking hairstyle.
There we go.
I wouldn't say Einsteinish, but like young Einstein.
Yeah. Okay.
And he is like a young Einstein.
I feel like it's more like a I don't know,
Like a
Def-
bougie
like a Def
Einstein.
Leppard look.
Def Leppard?
Or like
Why you put him on Def Leppard, man?
I mean,
That's
but he
all
listened to it.
That's
See,
It's more like
how'd I know? I knew he listened to Def
It's
Leppard.
more like a Henry Rollins.
That
It's
was-
like a
No,
Henry Rollins. It's like
that's
an
not a Henry
older
Rollins.
spoken word Henry Rollins.
He
I
didn't
like
listen,
Henry Rollins.
but you like
Damn
Def
right
Leppard
you-
better.
Well, that was the hugest thing in middle school. I mean,
It was Def Leppard, right?
What?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what song did you like? Did you used to sing it in your car? What'd you have? A Geo Metro?
no,
Oh, that was Jesse.
No.
That's what my mom still says to this day that
Blue and duct tape
that
gray.
I lied to her. I tried to say, "Look, Mom, that thing broke down."
The whole piston fell out.
Yeah.
And I tried to pick it up. I didn't realize it was 3,000 degrees. Remember?
And then the police pulled up, and not one of us got a driver's license. We're scared to death.
Hitched a ride with the
Yeah.
police to the exit.
That's the first time police gave us a ride.
Yeah, and we didn't have to, go to the jailhouse.
Free Uber. Yeah.
Yes, it was. I was scared. I was scared to tell him I was driving. I think I didn't. I think we told him somebody else was driving.
Yeah, your sister. She walked to the gas station. We sent
what
her
we did, yeah.
with the gas can.
Oh man, yeah, I remember that too, man. So what? That was that was your middle school days.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Def Leppard. Did you have one of those jean jackets?
No, I did not. I did
You
not.
went-
They were on many a book cover, like drawn out Pyromania.
My sister used to wear the jean jacket and had like Metallica written on the back and all the
Nice.
little bands.
Led
and stuff.
Zeppelin.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't my thing.
Motley Crue with the pentagram on it.
It definitely wasn't my thing. I think when I met you, you tried
Definitely
to like
your thing.
No, you tried to like influence me with all that stuff, man.
I was
just-
more like a Doors, Jane's Addiction
Yeah, you
type
tried
dude.
to influence me, and that stuff was good. But I was always a hip hop, that was always my thing, rap music. But you tried
Definitely
to,
not.
yeah, because you tried to change that. You tried to put your spin on stuff. And
Bro,
it was very.
You used to be in the room. She talks to angels. You were that dude.
No, that was definitely you. I didn't even know that song until you played it for me. You think I came up with that song?
No, you didn't come up with it. The Black Crowes came up with it.
Yeah,
but you used to put it on repeat.
You think
definitely?
You think I knew the song though?
You knew it after the first night for sure because it was on repeat.
Who played it though? Who played it first?
The stereo.
Damn liar, man.
Cassette tape.
I didn't know anything about that music until I met you, man. You introduced all that stuff to me.
You're welcome.
All right, well, you say what you want, whatever.
Yeah, when I met him, he was like crisscrossed out, pants on backwards. You know what I mean? Doing the kid and play dance.
Might be a fair assumption there. I seen something on Facebook the other day, and you two might be able to chime in on this, man. And it was I don't say kids because they're adults now, but I don't even think they were the age during this time, but they were putting their the top 5 alternative like rock influencers of the 90s, right? And so the 90s was kind of like I was in high school during the 90s, and most of these people I think were in middle school, maybe elementary school, but they had their opinions on it.
The people that were answering the questions?
That put the top 5 out there, right? And so their top 5, I can remember this. And what I'm asking is maybe y'all have some input, but you were the 90s?
Do I?
The high school. That was high school. Was that high school for you? Was no 80s was high school for you. Yeah. Well, 90s was kind of high school for you.
Definitely. 94 was my graduating year.
So they had, I think I seen on here, I think it was Marilyn Manson.
Negative.
Right? I couldn't believe somebody put that on there.
Negative.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I think there was Rage was on there, Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, they could have been in there.
They were, and then who else they had on there? There was a couple other ones.
Nirvana, maybe.
They didn't put Nirvana on there.
Top down for the grunge era.
Yeah,
off the top would have been, Soundgarden and Nirvana. Definitely the biggest that had everybody wearing flannel shirts.
Yep.
I would have thrown Jane's Addiction in there though, but you
They
would have had
definitely- I don't even think anybody mentioned them.
you would have had Blind Melon in there with the
Yep.
little dancing bumblebee. They were that was influencing, but all the Seattle bands definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And even Jesse's little one, his little punk rock band that he liked to follow around. Green Day. Yeah, they were definitely. You got to put them in there.
I think somebody
were
did
big.
put them on there.
They would have been low on the top 5. Is this
and I
only a
think
top 5 list?
It was a top 5 of the most influential of the 90s, and I think they were on there. And there was some debate about that, based off of, we all know that they but what they did is they made punk rock mainstream. They
it
brought
was grunge. That's
Yeah,
not
or
punk.
grunge,
Yeah,
right, yeah.
definitely grunge. They would have made it mainstream. Yeah, so like that would have been the influence for the public. Now, like people that were into him probably would have been Pearl Jam would have been in there definitely. Everybody with the flannel shirts.
They weren't on there.
But like influential for me would have been like the people that influenced them, like Soundgarden, not Soundgarden, but like Sonic Youth.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Sonic Youth, because they were like around way before them, and they always opened up for them. Them bands would every time I went and seen one of them bands, like Pearl Jam and stuff, it was always Sonic Youth, and you end up like wanting to go to the show just to see Sonic Youth because they were so much better, but they weren't pushed into the mainstream like that.
Right.
Or like the band the Pixies. The Pixies were like,
good.
they're up there. Yeah. And definitely influence wise, I would have put Primus in there, man, because
Primus,
They didn't have them on there.
Yeah, we're talking about the 94
like
Woodstock
the
there.
The list I seen, I was just
You would have had Red Hot Chili Peppers on there.
They were on there. They were on
organic.
there. But again, like I love music. I love pretty much all genre except for I'm not really a big country fan. Never have been a big country fan.
No.
But I'm not like one that can like dissect who's like the best and better. I just like good music.
Yeah.
But I found that interesting.
Do you find yourself more like of a mainstream poppy type dude, or do you like?
Well, now I don't even listen to the radio anymore. Now it's just like
you're more of like you like talk radio. You like the sports
well, I like talk radio now, but if I'm listening to anything, I just I type in Apple Music of something I want to listen to, and
I was
they
in
come
the
out.
car with you the other day, and it was something that had like a country sound, bro. So I don't know if you're totally
No, I
against
think
country.
you were
but
talking. No, it
gospel
definitely
country.
wasn't country song. I think what you were talking about was
Alan.
Alan Raymond.
Yeah, Alan
He's got like a
Raymond.
soul kind of sound with him. He's definitely not country.
Yeah, he's not country, kind of folksy.
Yeah, it's like a soul kind of folk.
like folksy, kind of
Yeah.
like a watered
I
down
like that.
Bob Dylan.
I just can't like with country music because I'm not from the country.
Yeah.
I can't really like get into like some of the stuff.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they
You don't
sing.
want to do a lot of crying on the front porch in your beer.
I really do none of that.
and
Yeah, yeah.
beating your dog. Yeah. I mean, no
You know,
offense to the
I
country
was
world. out
never
there.
a hunter or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Cowboy.
That's
But
all
anyways,
I heard in my youth.
Have you ever
That's
had
what
to
you heard
bury
country
one of
music.
your own dogs before?
Now that I have done.
I have done it too, and let
think
me
I
tell
burned
you,
it. I burned-
yeah,
my mom
I
said it
dug
was-
the hole in solid earth, and I was tore up more about that than any human funeral I've ever been to.
That
Sorry,
does not
family.
make you country though.
It makes me a little bit rock.
All right. So look, so we digressed a little bit, talking about some music, but music's a good thing. Music's actually can help in your recovery, man. It's always good, sometimes just to sit down and pop in some good music. And I don't say you meditate, but I think music can like help calm.
It
some
can influence
people.
your mood,
Influence, yeah. But meditation. People say you can meditate with. Meditation is usually a quieting of the mind, so it's hard to do that with music.
Or it's
But,
like a deep concentration too.
yeah. That's a quieting of the mind.
I won't
usually.
bring up what the highest form of meditation that we usually practice is because we're on the air, but I'll speak to you with this afterwards because you're so concentrated. And then that's like, if you could do that in like real meditation, you could probably
See, this
reach
is
some
one of
different
those times-
dimensions.
You got to edit.
where you might edit this stuff out. All right, what's your little inspiration you got going on in your head today, Trav?
No, I feel pretty inspired today, but only as a response. Now, like I love what you said like a few episodes ago. Let the people that love you and let the people that hate you be your motivation. But also, like, how do you stay motivated when you're trying to respond to what you perceive? Because everything's about perception in this world. And what you perceive as negativity. Now, like, I know sometimes I'll have the right response and sometimes I'll have the you response, But either way, that's what I found by just like half kind of working the steps, like just trying, is that even when you mess up, you can work that first step after your mess up. You can sit in your car, you can process, and you can go, in that situation, was I open-minded? Was I willing to listen? Was I being honest? So
you do that. You got to do that afterwards, right?
Well, I mean, you can do it
After
before,
you-
you can
yeah.
do it after, and no matter how you're doing it, you're practicing it.
Well, no. What I mean is like if a situation occurs, and you don't react, or you don't think you might have reacted the right way,
in the proper way, yeah.
Then afterwards you sit on it and kind of figure out what you can do better.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Okay.
And that first episode helpful.
Well, I can tell you, man. Typically most of the problems that I face in my life, and that most everybody that's in recovery is gonna face, it's first step stuff, man. Like a lot of times we're just powerless over other people, right?
Yeah.
Well, not a lot of times we are. We're powerless of what people think about us. We're powerless over their actions. We're powerless of what they say. We're powerless of their thoughts, right? But one thing we have some control and power over is our actions.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, where we the longer we're here and the more we practice it, the better we get at it. Right. Nobody just wakes up one day and is like cured from like reacting negatively to their emotions.
Yeah.
Right. You might feel some type of way. Like for me, man, a lot of times when I was riffing and running, the way I reacted to emotions was with physical stuff. Like I was always a physical, and because I had some type of athletic ability, I would revert to like, you harm me, I'm gonna fight you. You say something slick, I'm gonna fight. It was always that's how I would revert.
Did you
like,
find
stuff.
that to be an effective response?
Well, I feel like it
Definitely was useful.
it was useful in the moment, right? Because it did do some things.
This should be like the
for me.
half step before
Yeah.
the first step. This is the half step, dog. And you're about to get it.
But it, but it did get me in some trouble too, like as I got into recovery, right? That I learned that wasn't a healthy reaction to some things, right? And that was tough, man. I remember one time Haley, my daughter Haley, she called me one time, and I got probably about 7 years, in recovery. So 7 years, no drugs, maybe 8, I don't know. She calls me at one time. She's like, "Man, my boyfriend just put his hands on me. you know, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, I still got a little bit of fight game, right? And I'm like, well, dang, man.
You still got it?
No, you know, now it's yeah, I still got it, man. I definitely could beat you. So.
I mean, a lot of times, like a tool you don't use for a while gets, you know, as they say in the business, rusty. So how do you know you got it?
Because I got a 14-year-old, and he's always trying his hand.
And no, judging by the stories, he's
he puts his work in. He does. But like I you know, she calls me and I pull up and I'm driving there, and I did one of probably like back in the day, it was like one of the most, I don't want to say softest, like it was like a thing that we wouldn't do. But I'm driving, I'm on the way to her house, you know, because I'm like, all right, I gotta handle this, you know, something's going on. And I just so happened to see a couple police officers like sitting right by, she lived in this, you know, Shady Hill trailer park or something. And I'm like, you know, going, and I'm like, you know what?
that sounds nice.
I've been there.
Yeah. Before I was like, you know what? Before I go there, let me tell these police what's up, right? You know, and I got the police and I got them involved, right? You know, and told them what was happening, because I knew if I show up, right, it's probably going to be an unhealthy response if I see this guy, you know, and he wasn't there and he had took off running and stuff like that. But you know, it takes practice to react to our emotions, right? We have to act our way into a new way of living. We have to act our way into a new way of thinking, right?
Training, retraining,
Yeah,
training,
you know,
training
and so
yourself.
you know, for instance, like, you know, what happened with yourself.
What happened with me? Nothing.
Well, you know, yesterday you had some emotions come up and you didn't handle them the best way. So I think, you know, what you're referring to is like afterwards you went and you sat on it and you thought on it. You're like, damn, maybe I could have did this better. Maybe I could have didn't do this, you know, that kind of thing. The more you practice the reaction, right? So like typically, you know, emotional IQ is hard. Right, emotional IQ is a tough thing, and emotional IQ is being aware of my feelings, right? You know, being aware, having some awareness of what's going on, right? You know, and when those feelings start to come for you, you just got to start to practice more, because you get angry. You got angry, right? It's safe to say that you got angry.
Maybe not angry, maybe disappointed.
No. The disappointment probably came later. The first thing that came probably was
We're gonna edit this.
the first thing that probably came was embarrassment, right? Was shame, and then the reaction.
Actually, it was shock.
The reaction to that was anger, right? You know, because anytime a slight, let me tell you this, everybody out there listening to this, right? Because I'm on one now, right? Anytime a slight hint of a defective character gets revealed, it freaking hurts. It hurts me. I got daggone coming up on 12 years in recovery, right? And so when somebody points out a defective character on me, it still hurts, right? You know, and when that happens, like even if it's a slight one, even if it's one we don't even agree with, right? Because it's hard sometimes for us to see our defects of character, right? And so when a little one gets revealed, it hurts. It hurts, right? Especially if it gets revealed to a group of people, right? It even hurts more, because it's almost like you're putting me on blast, right? You put me on Front Street, and do I believe it's true or not? I don't know if that's really true. I don't know if I'm really doing it. I don't know if I'm being dishonest. I don't know if I'm being manipulative, you know? So it hurts, right? You know, but when we can finally sit through those emotions without reacting, that's when we know we're getting better, right? We're getting better. It takes practice.
Yeah, and also like anybody out there in early recovery, and if you're in like these situations, or like you're close, or like you're constantly around people, and they're all in your business, and just I'm gonna tell you like a lot of good things happen. Lives get saved, but like because everybody's around everybody all the time, it's a gossiping cesspool around here. You gotta like rise above it. You do. You have to elevate yourself above it, because like you don't want to get caught up in it, because this can definitely show your character defects.
Yeah, but that's the beauty in it, though. See, like all that little stuff that you added, like the gossip, this and that, right? That stuff's irrelevant, right? Right. The beauty is that like I got exposed, like because I want to get exposed, right? Because if I get exposed, then I can change.
Oh, you're saying
right?
the reaction was the exposure.
Yeah, well, the defective character, right? You know, and we don't got to get into what that is. It doesn't even matter, right? Right to what we're talking about now. It matters to you, right? But it doesn't matter to what we're talking about. What I'm saying is, if I, you know, example, like if I'm continuously lying to my children, right? If I continuously lie to my kids, if I, tell them like fibs, like, hey, I'm going to be there at 5:00 to pick you up, or hey, I'm going to show up to your game, and I don't show up, right? And then we have a family meeting and it gets revealed in front of the whole family, that is going to expose a defective character of mine, and it's going to hurt. Right. But then I can take a look at. So, my kids one time told me, Dad, you're always on your phone. You're always, and this is a long time ago. Right. This is back when I was HR director, because, I was always on call, answering phones, and I'm still to this day, but I've learned how to put my phone down. Right. They told me that, and it exposed a defective character of me not thinking I was qualified where I was at. So I was always trying to do everything I could to get accepted at the job. So when they exposed that, it hurt. And I reacted to them. Right. But then when I sat and thought on it, I was like, oh, this is good. Right. Because I don't need to be on my phone. Right. And I can go into depth about what was exposed for you and what you need to work on. But that's, hopefully you see that. Right. And so
why are you bringing up old stuff? Why are you bringing up old stuff?
Your reaction tends to see. Trav tends to use the reaction of funny comedian, and that reverts it, right? One day he'll face it, right? Because I'm going to tell y'all, because there's a lot of prisons and jails listening to this, Trav, right? So when you're in prison and jail, right, you're going to be maybe tried, right? Somebody might steal a bag of chips, some bang bangs or whatever. What are they called? Shebangs. They might steal a bag of your shebangs, right? Or they might come up and grab the remote and flip the TV while you're watching it. Different things might happen in the jail and the prison, right? And that's going to spark feelings, right? So just because you're in jail and prison don't mean you can't work on yourself, right? Because what do? Right? That's the stuff that we're talking about.
That's a good
right?
point.
That's
a good point.
That's what we're
talking
about.
What do you do if somebody steals a bag of your chips?
Well, so in prison, it's hard.
It's a different set of rules because you can't just let nobody steal from you.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's hard. I want to tell you the healthy thing, and the right thing to do is maybe go give them a bag of chips. So you know what, man, you feel like you got to steal chips. Let me just give you chips, right? But that's not. I know how it is in prison.
So you don't get up on the table and make an announcement.
Who stole my chips?
Yeah, your mom is
I never know. I never knew if that was the effective way or not. I've seen people do that before too. But that's even a bad example. It could be an example of getting on the phone and talking to somebody at home and saying, hey, look, you got to give me some money. I need some money right now. Right? Is that healthy? And then when they say no, you get mad, hang the phone up on them. Right? So we got to.
That's practice. A good. Now we're on to something. Yeah. Getting the answer that you don't want. Yeah. How do you respond to that?
We got to practice healthy ways of dealing with our emotions, right? So that's what we want to give everybody today. Practice healthy ways to deal with your emotions.
Give us 2 examples of a healthy way to deal with an anger emotion. Give us 2 ways.
So one of the best things that I do when anger hits me are because usually anger comes last, right? So if it's shame, if it's embarrassment, whatever it is that hits me, when those feelings hit me, I don't make or react in any of it.
Stoicism?
I usually sit and let those emotions come.
Let it marinate.
Right? Because if I open my mouth, it's going to be bad, right? If I open my mouth, I'm going to react in a negative way. So typically I sit and I let I feel it, I feel it and I embrace it and I let it, let it go. And then once it comes through me and I'm a little bit more sane, and that might take some time. So I might have to remove myself after the situation. I might say, you know what, look, I need a little bit of time to think about what's going on. I got to process this, and I remove myself,
That's what I do too.
So
keep going. That's what I do.
That's that BS.
But I did. Man. I said I have to process
when
this.
You start
did I say that or not? I said
but you had already reacted. You already reacted.
Well, I said sometimes you work the proper answer out after the fact. Just as long as you're working it, you're making progress. Are you looking at your phone during a podcast, bro? Now that anger feelings are coming up in me, what do I do now?
Man, there's a bunch of stuff coming up on there. All right, so that because you asked me, that's one, and that's the main thing that I do, man. And then when anger comes, if another thing that I can do when anger comes is I'll go walk, run, or workout.
Exercise.
Like if it hits me, I'll do some type of exercise. But typically, and this is with any emotion, not just with anger, I'm telling you, typically the first thing I do before I make any solid decision or response is I sit in my feelings. I feel it, right? You know, and I let it go. You know, I feel it, I get centered, I let it go. And then my response comes, or then I make a decision, right? You never want to make those decisions or try your best not to respond.
So has
to those
this
emotions.
process gotten faster with you over like, you know, a period of time? Because like sometimes that can take like some days. So like what if you're in a situation where you got to have some quick answers?
That's good. Yeah, sometimes it definitely can take some days. But the process with me has sped up over time. That's what I'm talking about. Time, the more practice we have, right, dealing with our emotions, man. I'm talking, but this, man, I remember having a year in recovery, right, a year no substances, and I bent over to tie my shoe, and I just started crying, and I had no idea why I was crying, right, but it was just like feelings, right, you know, and so that's what happens early, in recovery, man. Those first couple years, man, we're just feeling, and we're not medicating. Now, sometimes we might fix a feeling with a feeling, you know, right?
Explain that.
So that could be like, all right, I'm angry, so now I'm gonna go gamble, right? You know, and try to win some money, or
never mind. Because I thought gamble's not a feeling, but you mean fix it with adrenaline or something?
Yeah, well, gambling's not a feeling, but the feeling I get from gambling.
Yeah.
Right, you know, so that
Excitement.
feeling. So that's how I fix the feeling. I'm going to fix this feeling. I'm sad, right? So now I'm going to go try to, do something to make me feel good, right? You know, and it's usually a negative thing that I might do, you know, early on in recovery. You know, sometimes that's what we'll do. But look, we're running out of time. You got any closing remarks? We've been on it for a good while, kind of talking back and forth. Anything closing you want to give anybody out?
No, I feel edified, and that's some good advice, man. Really to sit and process, or whatever you got to do to just take that time to let them feelings go through. I mean, this is a learning process, man. Like they say in it's progress over perfection, man. None of us are perfect. Even people that have a lot of time or a little time, I mean, it's just progress. Just as long as you're progressing, mistakes are going to happen. You know, you got to brush it off. You got to deal with it in a healthy way, and you got to keep it moving. And that's all I got to say for that.
Yep. Good stuff. Well, we're getting ready to end. Last thing I want to give is, so any leaders out there, anybody that's trying to be a leader in this field, leaders can change a team, right? You know, a good leader can change a team, but a great leader will change people's lives, right? So if you want to be a great leader out here in this field that we're in, out here in this recovery field, you know, work on changing the lives of the people around you and allow them to change your life as well. All right, everybody. Peace.